Yeah, Alaska, the other car, men Sancha, be no mention for the Sancha number. I think they had their course were Ahomte and Akuffo Addo. Ya kanasema, honorable Kansembi, and I perfectly agree with him. Say Akuffo Addo, I'm a president. He would have been the perfect president Ghana never had. And always, you know, people would have wished, oh, Sanka Papa will be yeah, because prior to his presidency, you know, so we hear the rhetorics and the political fringes. Now, even though people very closer to him knew Nipa no yeah, they knew say he was an empty barrel that was just walking around. But you see, the media created a certain euphoria of competence around him, and people thought, say, oh, this is the tough guy coming to rescue Ghana. So over here, 2016, Nema and Mahama was rubbish on the basis that a Messiah was coming. Yes, because his message and the level of economic despondency then in Ghana was a bit, especially with this dooms of frustration and stuff. So with the emergence of Akuffo Addo, now gauged that against the Nsemanoka, people had hope. High hopes. That's why I told you, sir, I have friends and we are medical doctors. They were chanting at the hospital. They were advocating Akuffo Addo mra because things will get better today. So Oko Bifi now Akuffo Addo.
Oh really?
Because all of them are deeply frustrated because what they wait say Akuffo Addo, you know, because somebody who has over the years, you know, accorded to himself a certain cloud say, oh yeah, your friend is saying human rights activist, Alaska. Or no, and I can sit here and tell you, say, Akuffo Addo is a lawless gangster with an executive tag.
A lawless gangster.
Oh yes,
with an executive tag.
He's a lawless gangster with an executive. The only difference between him and a common criminal is no presidential badge. Oh yes,
Ivan.
Alaska, man, I don't just talk in vain. Let me give you a fact. Akuffo Addo is the first sitting president in the first time whose conduct has been flagged unconstitutional by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
In the case of Domlivo, he is the first sitting president whose conduct has been flagged unconstitutional
by the Supreme Court.
By the Supreme Court of the land. Second of first torpedo the appointment of your friend Domlivo no was unconstitutional. This is a precedent. On top of that, your friend is saying your president not Rollins and your lawyer. Before there he was a lawyer, and then Mills was a lawyer, and then Mahama wasn't a lawyer.
Okay.
But these people didn't commit such your friend saying blunder. But this man who claims to be a lawyer, and Alaska, you see the insincerity in the way of dealing with things, and they say, honorable papaya and friend Kokofudia, or no Kokoshe way, at the time of his appointment, now I pass it, your friend is saying retirement age. Yes, because you see, you just wanted to set a certain precedent when you get to a certain age. Yeah, you have the right, the power to reappoint people for a specific number of times. But if you want people to take you serious, say you are forcing Domlivo, because then the public, well, at his side, because of Nema no with this your friend is saying Auditor General Crow associate issue, no, people became fancy around him based on the things so if you boot him out at that moment, a man for will definitely go against you. And Alaska, says here Menoka saying Controller and Accountant General are passing the age 60, but he's still there.
He even went uncontested.
This man shamelessly more for the public, you know. Political party take it so the whole Controller and Accountant General is stood on the ticket of a political party while resigned.
Would have done that in this country, and you people would have allowed.
Yes,
you think that JM would have done that? Send a Controller and Accountant General, file on NDC ticket,
yes,
go and contest and come and sit,
yes,
in this country.
So Alaska,
they Akuffo Addo their fakrum hand mono. Now we need the blood of Jesus to cleanse everything.
Alaska, with this president, so Ochana, Abambi appointed electoral commissioner, and the electoral commissioner decide to contest on the ticket of a party. Can you do anything about it?
Now I've gotten the
yes,
it's just like that.
Yes, because if the Controller and Accountant General, to me, looking at the sensitive position of Hodi, several other people like a judge, like Obia, or hold this sensitive public office. The president will be there. Everyone at least let somebody make comment, because you see, it's not always about constitutionality, law. Sometimes it is about ethics and morality. For constitution be an element of ethics and morality be embedded in it be an enyamra.
That's right.
Emra bia wu we certain element of morality are appeal to the conscience of the people, no, must be inculcated to give out that particular human description. Sabi nipa betimi follow because yenye mra mfa mamwa ye mra de manipa. So this is the track record of a person as president, and consistently, no, obaye, you have seen there is this extensive overstretch of an executive arm into the throat of parliament. This is not the first time I do we see. Yet here parliamentary standing orders. I won't say. So when you speaker, when I was sitting in, you don't have a vote.
Exactly.
And it's in the constitution. So once you are acting as a speaker, when you are in a speaker capacity at the moment, you know, you have no vote. And it's I don't know, a tie. In the US, when it ties Congress, the vice president or power to break the tie. But here, you know, when it ties, the honorable I don't need to explain. A tie, the vote is lost.
It's clear, it's lost.
It's clearly stated.
Devotion is
yes,
lost.
Because the motion you move with an anticipation, so you get a higher number to agree.
So if it doesn't go that way,
flat, it's lost. So, but they had a way of using the court to maneuver and engineer the way just to set a very dangerous precedent. Say, nah, we are Speaker of Parliament, we set it where you are.
And Nanado.
And then Akuffo Addo.
Very bad precedent.
Because at that time, they needed a number to do something, the 11. Alaska. So this dangerous precedent, after say yes, setting, then we got to a timer. 11. Ebaye. People were agitating, chant and all over. Parliament, passed the court president and him. At that material moment, a suit was filed at the court, a court of competent jurisdiction. I am with the conviction, say Alaska. And this conviction is always with me, say. A certain an executive president in our part of the world, you know, in the exercise of his duty, court cannot stop him from doing what he's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Especially when that role emanates directly from the constitution.
And
that's why he even has a veto power.
Yes.
He has a veto power so that he can, if they
torpedo some of the distance.
Torpedo.
And it's
yes.
Will come to a standstill.
Yes. That is why we have a separation of powers, you know. Parliament. It's a body, or also no, it's insulated. So that is why you cannot go for a court injunction and stop Parliament from doing their job. You see, the speaker, you know, and I pay back because Ukoma Parliament in the discharge of its core mandate, you know, cannot be stopped. That is why say honorable MP. Now say core Parliament akoye na dwuma. Now we say enra na dwo. Me share papa we obabo me kro no. Minim no nie. When he's on his way to Parliament to discharge his duty, he cannot be arrested.
That's right.
Because the job they do inside Parliament, you know, is sacrosanct. Our constitution making sure that there will be no hindrance either prevented from doing. So in the discharge of its core duty as Parliament, you know, there can be no interference. But a Parliament, now said they all you know or aftermath, you know, if there is anything. And the so Parliament transmitting the bill to the office of the president is part of the activities. So you cannot tell him, say, Parliament is they cannot send a letter. Because considering the bill, passing through the stage and transmitting it, you know, is part of the... It's a package. It's a package.
Yeah.
So you cannot stop Parliament from transmitting.
Complete.
Yes.
And they complete the transmission.
Yes. And then it comes to the president. Yes, the president is not a zombie. Yes, a parliament, the Marabanti Chinchin, I say, even though the constitution is the free shall, but constitution and make certain provisions. So, president in the or reservations are. And so, in the form of a memoranda, or specify his concerns, the provisions, and the things he feels any right within we non parliament. And as I saw the reasons won't notify Parliament. Now, sir, our certain changes be or engage Council of State.
That's right.
Not that particular way, no, ya resolve. Now, say, a Parliament will do that changes based on the recommendations made by the president. And when it is resubmitted, the president shall assent to it. No reservation. That is the position of the Constitution. After reconsideration, you know, and coming back to the president, the word is he shall.
And they shall.
Yes. Alaska. So, besides say, Constitution has specified this thing clearly. Has the president, upon realizing certain provisions in the way, no, maybe say, or you're satisfied with it, has he even written officially to notify Parliament? And from my check, I'm told officially there has not been such a communication. Of course, I meant they are fine. Alaska. So you see, and in politics, in governance, precedents and those things, you know, are very, very important. That is why I made reference to E-Levy case. E-Levy. President Free said, no, I am a president and executive power is vested in me. And there are two institutions and Parliament are direct representative of the people. Executive power is vested in the president. That is an enormous power. You can't just brush it aside. So in the discharge of his duty as president, no court can stop him from assenting to the bill. But you see, the funny idea the president, you know, ascended to the bill, you know, or its implementation, you know, can be stopped by the court. Exactly. It even you cannot you may not even get to its implementation stage. Yes, it had to be in a gazette. That process, when you stop it, it means the law cannot come into full force. So you can go for injunction and stop it there.
And when it has become a law.
A law.
So you cannot injunct a bill.
Alaska.
So law no. Yes,
no, the president, you know, president no reservation, you know, it's not based on a court injunction and as for because functional rule there exactly though.
Exactly.
Alaska. And the way now say is deemed unconstitutional. Now court not say who say the implementation of this LGBT law no. Say until say you be determine case in your man cause what harmful consequences on Ghanaians, then the court will put that interlocutory injunction on it, approve pending determination.
Put it on hold.
Yes. So even though president has signed, parliament has signed, but it's still on hold because say Germany Toma ebe create harm and the court up to stamp on it. The court new rule no honest start free. That is why I was telling somebody say president to me to do a lot of things. So President Akuffo Addo sorry say na electoral commission so we nkwan fa so ye na di.
That's right.
So president is sorry, he's acting unconstitutionally. Say my sorry electoral commission in penasem nti me pese me ye na di na wa throw letter wa Alaska. In writing that letter, the president is exercising his duty. Even though the act he's doing is unconstitutional, you can't stop him from writing the letter. But one right here we know somebody can go and stop him with a court.
Exactly.
So the mere taking my pen paper writing as a president issuing that you can't stop me. But a babonte na say constitution in Chile as a president who to me say Osaki Obio because constitution you know specify what has to be done. Into this act with the medical court way put injunction on letter president Diabano because unconstitutional pending determination you put on it. Alaska. But these people have decided say emrana wo mai mu ha no yam fa say omumu obia.
Now is it the case law no omunim but omunim na so ma sheda.
Now Alaska, we are talking about a bunch of rascals. Asante be dey to onye ono na ma onom jot wo ya chimba bi. This guy yes jot to tuana no nom basa. This guy is an executive president.
This guy, what does he know?
Alaska, and then the most anointed parliament, I hear a bit silent on it. Alaska, me bo fukura wo ho. Honorable kan ho asem. The tone, the wording of the letter is so childish and so infantile.
We should write English and they will get one word to write.
Alaska.
Then you know what bad language. Then as a new can get the way we would describe him.
Yes. Alaska.
Right.
The tone of the letter is so derogatory, so insulting to Parliament.
Annoying. But the public can hold him before.
Alaska, it's very insulting. There are ways you are dissatisfied with proceedings. Myself, Krano, when you're a lawyer, there are ways you can express your dissatisfaction in a way will communicate to Parliament. But such a strong worded letter with words riddled with quote unquote insult, disrespect, and that kind of your friend is saying, Alaska, and spy. You see, that is why this whole thing, it doesn't look to me like a democracy. I've been sitting in your studios and I've been telling you that this is not a democracy. The guys ruling us are not Democrats. They are imposters fronting democratic rule. Akuffo Addo is just running a Ponzi scheme. Oh no, he must always have his way. And he left by, recently I listened to a law professor and you see these guys are sometimes very funny. You see, Alaska, I'll say, and let me explain this, Alaska. Say, you can't Ghana constitution. The only institution I have the power to interpret constitution is the court.
The court.
Yes. Obi a lawyer. The difference between a lawyer and an ordinary citizen or a lawyer, they say the lawyer has been trained when you're a refined understanding, but he's not an authority. That is why you're a court judge lawyer kochena again or betimia can sama church and you are not judge number 12 because it is the judge that has the absolute power to interpret the constitution. You're training a judge to be able to express a refined understanding about the law. And when issues come, it doesn't make you an authority. So there was this law professor who on radio was saying, okay, on there he doesn't see anything wrong with the president attempting to agree or see to accept na air course of parliament, Now until he's assuming, this is a law professor assuming for the president. He's under the assumption, say, president, I'll go ahead, Abrana 11, case in war court. Still, of course, so he's assuming that the president has come to the realization, say, he made a mistake, and now he's correcting his mistake.
A law professor.
That is the position he took. The president has realized that in doing the earlier, why a mistake. Now he has come to the full realization, say, on person by a mistake in him. And I'm saying you can't sit afar and assume for the president when he himself is silent. And the president is a lawyer. So if he knows that he erred in his earlier assenting to the bill of brand new parliament, why can't he do the same thing here? And Alaska, you see, it's not just this. Obekaya honorable. Abra Electoral Commission can't say or your van is saying or the registration at the district level. The same incident happened. The same incident happened. 8 political parties filed a suit challenging that decision.
Yes.
Yes, I'm the data send bottom to coin. Yes, Electoral Commission realizing say, oh no, I am time bound. The relevance of Diano Mukwakweno, a far reaching, so one year of consequences. They went ahead and did it. Abrana court to Quayan did the injunction whatever. Because the fact say injunction, nobody has sat on it to grant the injunction or anything. So it could be frivolous.
So that was why Amali Banka said discretion, either to go ahead or to...
Yes. Because if you are convinced that it's frivolous, you can go ahead because no court has granted anything. That is why the Electoral Commission went ahead and did what they did. So I know the day you got not as I dead that. So young Konkwa. So these are classical, your friend is saying, examples. So when the presidents and then as a forum, ask yourself, say, because the confusion that is emanating from people who are supposed to know better, because of politics and childish, your friends a way of your politics as a you put everything aside. Then back to Parliament. Speaker of Parliament, the oil and
that's right.
Because if the president can say when you letter, I actually say you're some court. Enti on person over committee no. Enti on you're ready to sign the bill. Even you transmitted from Parliament to the Secretary crowd or see on ye. I say you ever serve suit no udane. On ye not just budget. Now fortunately for the Speaker of Parliament, also what Tina say we say issue no cry approve and I be approve no. Yan so no obi dia court. I serve interrogatory injunction. And mention I don't want to commit myself the same way the president doesn't want to commit himself. I am not going to commit myself. And mention pending determination by the Supreme Court. I am not going to touch this thing. Alaska, where lies this funny argument coming from that young man? Your friend is saying, Attorney General.
But the man I'm asking is, is he a politician or a professional?
No,
Alaska,
or a personal lawyer, not
you see, that is the challenge that we have. We see when we appoint Obi as a Attorney General, Alaska, Your allegiance is to the people, your allegiance is to the constitution, and your allegiance is to the people of this country.
Exactly.
And they're falling. But these are guys whose allegiance is tied to the apron strings of whoever appointed them. Whether they are they are still defending. Say, Babia, they are defending, they become personal defenders of the Nippon appointee, and then they don't care about what happens to the public. Because Parliament, Parliament represent the Ghanaians.
Exactly.
They are the constituency, or more constituency, or more represented people. So you can't take sides. So if there is certain lacuna, legal lacuna, the discourse, should attempt to unravel that lacuna. Now you who can ever fast why you ever solve through somewhere in the future, you can run it into those things. I told you the last time, say, is it nipa and we are just reactionary people. Papaya, okay, yes, all Canadian passports, yeah, a year back and forth, a Supreme Court. Yes, up to now, there is this wave of confusion surrounding when a bright, so we call Parliament a process and started free. As of now, there is confusion.
I want to have a clear cut.
There is no clear cut this thing. And as long as that confusion exists, always there will be a problem. So when there is no clarity around the law, you give the judge that room to exercise his discretion. Yes, because when laws are explicit, now when you look at them, say when they're sometimes you can't, even though the judge have power to put interpretation on it. By room now being lean, but when there is an ambiguity, the law now too. If it is ambiguous, then as a judge, I have that discretionary power to put an interpretation. And when I put interpretation, we will be able to reverse it until that maybe another court.
Exactly.
We are president or we are when you can't. So in writing the laws, you kill all your friends ambiguous clauses and phrases. Say quite clear. But these are some of the development that your constitution. So always and always, judges are going to have that discretion. That is why so Alaska, I think there, baby, a time. So when you such a confrontation, such a rift, I emanate from the executive and then the legislature. And I'm always with the convictions that I don't support this, your friend saying, or be a minister at the same time or your parliament. No, we should have a total separation of powers. Total separation. That is why we need to amend the constitution. So that when you're a parliamentarian, you focus on your job. And whenever decisions are, you will not be intimidated. For instance, Billy, I can't have some parliament, Billy. In your parliament, the chance to try the bill from the scratch. Bill, most of them emanate from the executive outfit and other interest group, because even your friends are legislative. LGBT, say a private member bill, and a sponsor. So the bill, not very often, emanated from somewhere and started from parliament. And say, Sana, Etia, and Eba parliament. Because say, how prepared are we? Because the issues no bad. You need to do a lot of considerations. Sabia over who say, dear way, quite way na echo, and I say quite way na echo. So say a free a honor balance of parliament, those considerations. And such things are going to happen. Ask yourself, say the way forward, say they sit here. And parliament, that room or more to do their job, say they sit here. Now say Nipano, every juma, our executive, none outfit and a bill no free bar, upper parliament. Then Nipano also assign at the same time a parliamentarian etiwa. Do you think that person will come with clarity of conscience? No, exactly it will come. So, however expensive we think democracy is, I think if we appreciate we want to do democracy, then we should do it well by making sure we separate the executive from the legislature.
That's right.
No, Juma. Again, another dangerous thing like right in front of us. You see, your constitutional framework is not thought to say whoever becomes president will be wise, but I know him say Sebi. Unfortunately, no, that is the opposite. Oh yes. Your constitutional framework thought say wise people become president in Ghana. And in doing so, they gave them a lot of discretionary powers.
Trump or US.
Yes. Oh yes. They envisage.
They think that Trump will become
Alaska. So they envisage whoever becomes president. They are very sensible. So they gave it to them a lot of discretionary powers.
Not knowing.
Not knowing is one day.
Some will use them dangerously.
Certain monkeys will come to the Flagstaff house and make silly laws. Monkeys.
And use it dangerously.
Yeah, and use it dangerously. Alaska.
To wound themselves.
Wound everybody.
Alaska. Wound themselves to it.
Yeah. Alaska. So that is how dangerous this whole thing is. So the constitutional framework says, oh, president, the cool-headed, very intelligent, smart person who will not take dangerous decisions. But then they actually say we don't have that luxury anymore.
We have to review the constitution.
Yes, we need to review. We need to review because look at the Supreme Court today. Abanyaba. You see, these are some of the things. I say you review, like you cut a lot of the powers. Because Alaska Cathedral say political power in the hands of a fool is the most dangerous thing you can ever anticipate.
So the way we do
everybody around.
So as it stands now,
yes, Alaska. Rollins is so you already president. Rollins is a military man, already president. State lands, never so did the Kufo by, Nelson by. Mahama by and that state lands, you know, yeah, turning to the sense that we are telling your friends saying doctors said they should vacate their premises because the land is going to be sold, has been given to a private. Yes, Alaska. Psychiatry hospital, Accra premises, Yaton. Alaska. So the discretion, the discretionary intuition are not positive. Your constitutional framework say never be president, you know. And we need to make sure that we provide ceilings. That is why the Supreme Court in Alaska, the whole of America, you can't go beyond 10 Supreme Court judges.
We
need to put a ceiling because you don't know who will become president next time. How many people are appointed because my gun from Krabaya where say South Supreme Court there is no ceiling.
Bro, a World Health Organization, I'm saying 2.4 million people in Ghana
are sick. Yes.
But what to analysis now?
I'm done for the so Alaska. So just imagine say what's the political power we do political power the so want to mean enkitawo. We do what the best is as a winning answer. And I had a question. And I chin from political power, yeah, white, a home, ya come and say, yeah, they are borrowed for my home at Tachanquan, yet when you and honorable anocracy. You who say either a democracy and I say a dictator. You knew you womb. For the first time, look at the rift going on between Parliament, the Speaker, and then and the executive. So we need to review massive constitutional re-engineering and make sure, sir, we provide ceilings. Come on, catch us, sir. Yet here one day, Ubako Flagstaff has no monkey to wear so a president. And I make us say, Obia send me text message say monkey look right out of the horses here.
Now, okay, in Mexico County, be I'm voting man. A boy, how is a mule calling? What's the cross between horse and a donkey?
Okay, let me answer.
And a friend is it a boy funu? That's donkey a friend is it?
A funumu.
I'm fruit ponko. I'm voting my fruit ponko. The fruit ponko no sarana for no present this kind. 9 out of
Alaska. So I am very dangerous. You see,
they didn't trust thing. Oh God, so the people organize
yes.
And voting for.
Yes.
For the animal.
Oh, a friend is saying, fruit ponko no vote my fruit ponko no mass.
Alaska. So you see how dangerous. You see, and then because of PR work, because of PR work, and then you can sell anybody at all to the media, and people will buy. Just like Akuffo Addo, like China for a box, and you're packaging a brain. Alaska, the thinking is low, it's so inferior. Because when him said last time I catch Captain Smart say, I brand your friend Dr. Uwani.
That's right.
let me go to the stand to the presidency. Say, oh, man, for even though at some point in a click your more. But look at top government official at various levels. This guy was able to hoodwink them into believing. Say he works with the UN. But branch will be a sense at the very moment when you be born a sense of you will see some free UN. Oh, Alaska. Come on. You know when you Dr. UN when you born a sense of I cannot cry. It's a fact. If you are really serious. Alaska. Leadership, that is why I think that you need to have deep intuition. You have to be very smart. Before a man for a general, now what that. So you become a 90-year-old woman. With your brain, a 90-year-old woman's brain. The amount for a promo, you know. Who be you say they are coming who be woo. Now I say that is what a leader is supposed to be. But you see, because again, what for me to know, this guy was able to occupy to one or penty home. And to one flask. I to tell my top musicians, chiefs, I him for. To take pictures. Yes. Yes. Now we have picture. Now we have Dr. You and you have a sinner or we no more. Now you ask yourself, say, I know your mother. How can you look at this guy in the face and believe that he's really working for UN? Now, Obi catch us on my order. We need investigation about it.
So it means not just you're safe.
No.
But I'm trusting.
No. We are giving power to inferior minds. Even if you come to award me, I will do basic research to unravel. Yes.
If a whole president can say the more can send family on the concert part of
So have you ever thought, sir? Remember, have you ever thought, sir, a day will come like this, your president be a laughing stock?
If that Chairman and County, or if the framers knew that there will be a concert party group who said that some of them from home back home, when number was back.
Yeah. Alaska,
come on, title constitution.
Alaska. Oh, but maybe Akuffo Addo said, "Oh, see, good anymore from day one." A bit of Mahama and born, but I don't believe that. Oh, yes. Now,
Mahama.
Oh, sir. The way Mahama was treated, the way Mahama was treated by the time I hesitate or can be or say posterity, and so Bakaya, omo ya advert we are not bass be, I'm saying not bass in the pair court.
That's right.
And Obi Bejina Kanoka say, Musimra, me wakawa, ni muha, me wakawa, ni muha say, and the Nippon in si free cardum, and now although Musi Kwansa when Nika Bia were been on Swamuna, that was 2016. I see that people knew what was going to happen. That was a prophetic kind of way. Maybe a man for a game course. Alaska. And I don't go through a sign and swim bomb bridge. They had to wait. No, men believe says I be. Me free say maybe your cobo bosom be bossing and we feel kutia and a bosom that decides to be good in the Oh yes, I believe say or call to a deity for assistance about what boy me. And I ya boja good and soon and we fee. Now look at the embarrassment.
Now,
I dear president, but you are crying.
President Ben that's all
Cathedral.
Yes. You think that
just Yaria Juma no Yaria ne Adama Juma. Oh yes.
Who on earth?
On his right.
You are going to build a holy place, get a virgin land out of this trouble.
Yes.
Your cathedral is even located around your friend is saying, the castle where human beings were sold. Your cathedral is located around the sea where all manner of things go there. It's located around where criminal things do. Yeah. Cathedral. Go and get a virgin land outside the troubled area.
Exactly.
And do because people who go to cathedral want to pray. They want to listen to God. They want to listen to prayer. And we don't do that in a market center. Why no Nyansa? Then you pull down buildings, including
Judges Bungalow. And I'm willing to say there is a company that officially sued against Ghana. Yeah. They filed for your friends saying, judgment debt against government. A huge sum of money.
Would president that would catch me? Why no yes, President
COVID time, now see me high plane.
Na enchine ngu adwene mo be sa de we.
Vote ma afunu ba no. Because afunu o mugu die. Even human being can let bulldozers go and bring down.
Yeah, judges building. And out of that, a frustrated judge decided to say, because I can't do this. How can you pull down
an embassy? You look at an embassy and pull it down.
Yes.
Malian embassy.
Malian, how you have not made provisional. Now we are Shrab, now I'm a boss, no commissioner of Shrab.
Yeah, passport office.
Passport office.
One of the when crying name be a
yes.
Anna we no. What's we see Yinama?
National
When
Assembly
you pono, I say. I in sure at the tourist Baba Kroma. The baby Jessica.
Yeah, the Garden of
What do you
Eden
take from backward?
Garden of Eden.
Garden, eh?
I'm going far book.
Bo.
I'm trying to say
Alaska.
Free Israel.
Adriano. Now, Alaska, Dr. You and Tim Kofa Flash Chamawa. You haven't been on TV.
Be our timid now, Quinja did air conditioning at the most traveled chair in the world.
Yes.
It's found in Ghana. The most traveled chair. So I chair no bodo combatamo. Boy, but boo. It's being guided a whole cow.
I'm a rapper.
So you see, when I tell you, sir, we have a gangster.
None of my tears.
It's
a review tenter.
Alaska, when you have a lawless gangster with a tiny executive badge, or catch us all a president. Hey! Who? Just torpedo things, breaking rules, just bending. He doesn't care. He the basic. Alaska, basic element of leadership, basic principle, empathy. He's not. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
If you look at the veil of desperation, the pool of desperation in Ghana for whom I'm pain say but get it out. As a president, even who speech you cry no. Alaska say in America there are professors. They research into the speeches made by American presidents.
Exactly.
Because it's documented as future they will study.
But I don't have research.
Alaska, wouldn't they tell US or yes I know. They envisage that whoever become president, at least it will be there.
Okay.
So in Sema Obekano is worthy. Abraham Lincoln, and I have the whole way in the script, in the personal way. You can read through, and when you read, you know say this is pure intelligence. When you read the clarity of thought and this thing, it's quite clear. Logic, your friend saying it's all way. Can we do the same thing when we are shopping statement of a president Asabi who are unrelated? Because America's problem is different from the problems we have here. Right. So as a president in your maiden edition, you cannot go and shoplift speeches from Ansamo Obiaka in a different context.
Without giving credit to...
Yeah, exactly. And you see, Akuffo Addo has gotten away with a lot of things. You see, the level of hypocrisy. Now, let me be someone say, if I take my mind back to 2016, and then I come back today, and I say, Mahama and Komodesa LGBT law, Yakotu, no so unsanya. And today, I can't suffer back on Okroma say, because Bakaya, Abra, say American based Viva Kroma, Mahama agree. That's right. I'm telling you. I suffer in a puppet and him, they were insulting him.
It's true.
American,
but do you remember the Catholic Bishop, Obuan senior friend, you know what he told Mahama?
That's right.
That
he's to exercise common sense.
Common sense.
Yes, with compassion.
I've been quoting that.
Yes, Alaska.
But you know, one funny aspect is when this government assumed office,
Alaska, you don't have to do politics with hate. You know, be on the preferences. And it's a matter of personal winning as for hey, you can decide to vote for whoever that you want. But let us not do politics with hate. Because if you go back to 2016, American based backroom how I'm telling you, now I saw for the puppet and him. Na bedru enne na LGBT we have agreed that we don't want it. What is the role of the church? The level of hypocrisy is staggering.
But I know what I say.
Yes, and let me share that person baby in some sort of Alaska. The level of hypocrisy. This is American based a bar. We see people talk about whole lot of stuff, but be a bar and on the other side of it me a body power. But LGBT in as for no. Is it going to help us?
Okay, sir. 2020 elections. I'm going to say obian disbanded
vigilantes in the phone.
What is other this
as of what threatened? Yes. Yes.
I've resigned from the Catholic Church.
That's right. You said it here.
By honor, young resign.
Yes,
that is our church.
I said him there. Can resign because we didn't go to the church because of a human being.
Yes.
It's spirit directed.
Yes.
That is why I have a problem with a lot of pastors that they couldn't see. Special pastors they couldn't see that cathedral was a cathedral not sanctioned by God. And my cousin can say, if that cathedral is sanctioned by God, no one can stop it.
Yes.
Exactly.
I've said a million, no one can stop that. But it wasn't. So our pastors, if God said, let's worship God in spirit, what type of spirit is our pastors worshiping?
Yeah.
That they couldn't see and they became trustees of that.
Yes.
Even look at this woman, there was in the church here, salt and pepper.
Like light and salt.
And you didn't see that there was
Joyce
didn't say there was so much salt in the soup. She didn't say there was so much salt in that cathedral. So what type of light, salt and pepper were you talking about?
Pepper.
Yeah.
Light and salt.
Light. There is salt and light and everything.
Salt and light.
You couldn't see that there was so much salt in the cathedral scandals,
yes,
of which the Al Jazeera friends, Cathedral of Scandals,
yes,
Cathedral of Corruption.
Yes.
The names.
Then honorable how cry the cathedral. Yes, of we are the judgment.
The thing that make kind of say, what sort of pastors are they that they could not see in the spirit that this was not endorsed by the Holy Spirit?
But
first of all, you should see.
Yes.
We should pray to God that God in Bio and when he said make him meaning that cathedral is not a cathedral of God,
oh,
cathedral
yes,
of Satan. No?
Yes, and we won. We sat here and won.
Them.
Long time.
We told them that they were embarrassed them. It has embarrassed them to the extent that 58 million.
But Ivan, I know what
it means,
but Ivan, I know what can say. Messages I'm receiving.
Yes.
Today. Let's just say, I talk through
Alaska. You see the level of hypocrisy. You see, as of some they're just concerned people who are just casting on the ignorance of the people. You see, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, I go to church. Even sometimes, even when I get time, I go to church. So don't sit anywhere and say I'm on some for Alaska. But the level of hypocrisy and the way some asophobia casting on the ignorance, and a papa na wine, omudidi, a man for honor. Alaska is so shocking. You see, Cathedral na buy na. It's a silly thing for us to invest in, and that we need to stop. Alaska, I saw for yes, I told the other, you know, Mr. Mayade, I'll have the courage to approach you and apologize. Oh, they were running away from the board. All right, because of this mentias here. Oh, but I'm moving quite far. Oh, we're not quite far. You should be bold enough. Face your sins.
I can't feel time.
Face your sins.
They can't see in the spirit.
I can't few minutes with my.
Look, I'm telling you, look. You see, this Osophonom, I am waiting patiently. I know God would endorse it that December 7th, by December 9th, we'll be jubilating that NEC has taken power. And I want any of them to come and then criticize anyone. They are causing on this guy. It's a colossal damage.
Okay, Obia sending message. Obia sending message. He said, Chris, our tema. I see a little point of correction. I say I have 2 Guantanamo Bay detention and a Mahama receive on a military base. I think the military
no, 2 different ways. 2 different ways.
Yeah.
There was a military base and there was a Guantanamo way.
Exactly. That's why we call it Gitmo 2.
Yes.
Gitmo 2.
Right.
And now that a military base is different.
Yes. Right. So for me, my brother, the scandals in this government, it will take us the next 10 years to even finish investigating them. And I believe, maybe I'm telling you, meaning say Ghana for the almost it's not economic action. One Baba share action now the NDC government that John Dramani Mama will take.
That's right.
That is what they want. The people of Ghana want to see action. A man for person who said, Niamana, Sikano, my Riano, Yan Jisicano, and Famomo, the last they've stolen. we should retrieve the land for the people of this country. That is what people are waiting for us to see in this country. Now, economic issue there, I'm not going to say, on business no good, but yes, we must make sure that we do that the first thing. Because if you look at the way this government is running this government, it will take an experienced man like John Dramani Mahama, an innovative man like him, to be able to reset the clock of good governance. What is good governance? Oma say institutions in
but seriously,
they've intentional. Look, mention one institution, from the military to the police to all the security agencies to government agencies and departments. They've intentionally choked them with unqualified people. What far? Recruit an autistic patient. So I'm going, prison officer. I'm a prison officer. I'm your boy. How can you do that? Autistic patient. Now I'm fano as a recruit at prisons. Then the prisons are for this one there. We know you've been bringing unqualified people.
But when
they
are
so you don't do that to state institutions. Now my brother, my younger brother was coming from the US. I went to receive him at the airport. Me drew on mono. No more for Motia. I know custom officer. Motia. Motia. Again. So one of my guys came on the Kayasi team. And can you and come on fire? Mention Motia no number. Anna, you know what? Anka was it the other say? Over the Numpaba airport, say who's on my for Motia. Over the no call village is a bank and Hano. The ball was on my neck and this no come back as a team.
So they are doing it out of impunity.
They do it out of impunity and they do it as if it's a family, it's not a government job. And that is what has happened. All the security agencies. How do you rule a country like that?
Right.
How? And Maka, you see, you know this is there's difference between employment and creation of employment. If you come and because we were cautious and about government finances, there were some recruitments we didn't do. If you come and then employ and choke the system, you haven't created employment. You create employment if there's another studio that they built and new people come to join new people. You have created, but if you come and you are packing people in the same studio and the place is full
doing the same job,
you have doing the same job. You haven't created an employment. So the Omobano, can one institutional, creating from ground. For instance, we can say that we built the MPS here. Right. So we created employment from that of GPHA. Is that not it? It was from ground to that place. We can also say that we created another employment by the extension of the Terminal 3. When we say, look at the number of people who are working there. We created employment by the building of the Volta Airport, Volta Region Airport. You know. The expansion of the Tamale Airport in Kikahon. The expansion, that's how job is created. But Obama will be taking advantage of existing institutions. Then you choke people by constantly pushing people, pushing to fill.
You have not created
you haven't created employment. You've only employed and overemployed to choke the institutions and to make things difficult. And that you do that without regards to public financing, because you need to get more money to pay them. If not, you'll be underpaying them because of the numbers are called.
The output is poor.
Right. The output will be poor too. People should get the two different. They've not created employment. They've only can. Say, you have a teachers, you have a soldiers. You have not created. You have come to create problems, not employment.
But I say, Ivan,
yeah. So I think Alaska issues now are very serious. And me say
serious.
Maybe when you know issues or Alaska. So I think that we need to get serious. Now you're making sure that actions must have consequences. No. We see government and your Busia Padia will be by this way. The Omoya no sabi some woman and money time. And I think there must be certain conventional deterrence be establishing. It doesn't matter who you are. Alaska, who go beyond and our former, there must be consequences. That is why I'm saying that there is this new wave of thinking that is emerging among the youth.
Right.
Other youth, that particular wave, must police and guard our democracy from some for the excesses. And yes, sir, our democracy constitutional frameworks no thought is that wise people will be president, but then it is not the same way. We have more motisuna sansembia what it from the Frenches, yeah. Samra yebe see the akoto Kumasi and Nasiko, yeah. It means we are in for troubles. So I say we are sorry you protected the sanctity of the presidency, the government, oh Kroma. And yes, sir. And some baba.
When I say Obi message out about was Alaska and Susuruba and what cheddar and advice with about me and them. About me, I say or no at the sky train, but my and no gun of GDA. Now, a cheddar, and so cast on the pool, Abako Kumasino. I've heard a young woman, and Jomo Muna, Ayasa. Sorry, you're not having an answer. Thank you very much for being part and part of this wonderful show. Eunice and I are popular share with the DJ Gacha, DJ Cross, like Nico, Nicari, Alabama, I say.